Good morning. I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage. And I want to thank you for listening this morning. My presentation this month is based on a blog which I've entitled, What Should I Do Next? I was recently talking with a client who seriously needs to re-roof at least one of his freestall barns. And we had the conversation of whether he should re-roof it now or not. To be honest with you, he has the cash on hand, as well as if he needs it, we can use the credit line a little bit. I'm not sure that we're going to need to do that. And clearly his dairy herd would benefit from improved cow comfort and other positive results. So my answer was, why not? Why not do it now? Well, he was concerned about the tariffs impact. And I thought to him, well, if you're really concerned about it, if they are going to raise prices, as all the experts claim, it hasn't really happened yet, but so many people have said that it's going to raise prices. If it's going to indeed raise prices, now might be the best time to do it and save some money. If it doesn't have any impact, clearly the cows in his herd will have a definite benefit from the improved conditions in the freestall barns. So, speaking of tariffs, and there's been a lot of noise and a lot of discussion about them, I think as a rule, generally, we think that prices are going to go up, because of tariffs. But the reality is, and I don't know if you realize this, because I didn't realize this prior to all this discussion going on, but tariffs were the primary way of financing the U.S. government up through the 1800s. We didn't have this quote-unquote temporary income tax that we now face every year until the early 1900s, I think around World War I, to help finance the war, which of course was good for the U.S. But thus far, the tariffs that have been put in place have had maybe a psychological impact, and maybe companies raising prices out of fear of what might happen down the road. But so far, I don't know that the prices have been impacted a whole lot of most things. The prices were going up double digit a year or two ago, but the reality is, and I don't want to blame anybody in particular, but the reality is that was because of the inflation that was created by an additional $10 trillion of money being thrown into the economy by the federal government. And the reality is inflation has most recently been below 3%. The other impact, or the other purpose behind the tariffs, was to help bring manufacturing back to the U.S. The impact of that, of course, is still coming, but so far it looks positive, especially when you look at the multi-trillion-dollar investments that have been pledged by companies to bring some manufacturing back to the U.S., along with the high-paying jobs that go with that. And another benefit, of course, could be the lessened international dependence, or dependence upon international sources for a lot of things, like drugs, prescription drugs, and things of that nature. But anyway, enough on the economics of this whole situation. Let's go back to re-roofing the barn. My suggestion is to not be flying blind, but rather make positive decisions. This gentleman has the cash and a little bit of credit line. Well, he has a lot of credit line available, but he has a credit line available that he could use to a small extent if needed. But I suggested the following process. Number one, determine your goal. What is it that you want to achieve? Number two, consider the pluses and minuses of the various options. I don't know how many there are as far as re-roofing a barn, but there are probably more than one option out there. Get some price comparisons. Number three, on the negatives of the decision, or potential negatives, I should say, can we mitigate these? Because even your banker, that's how he looks at your loans. He wants to mitigate any downside. He or she will want to mitigate any downside that may happen. And then determine what the next steps are. And finally, number five, consider who's going to follow through on those steps, because so many times things don't get done just because we don't put a deadline on them. We don't determine who's going to do them, and just as significantly, by when. So I think if you follow these decisions, as I suggested to this dairyman, you will make far better decisions. And remember, in the famous words of um, Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, he said, and I quote, "It is always your next move." End of quote. I want to thank you for listening today. I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage. Thank you very much.